Hello, beautiful friends. Thank you for being here on this planet for this miraculous unfolding. I don't know exactly if it is truly a new year as we have an artificial calendar, but it is absolutely 100% a new beginning for the earth and humanity, and not because of the calendar, but because what just happened during the winter solstice, and then all the changes that have been taking place since the winter solstice. So we have been speaking quite a bit about the false matrix, and part of the false matrix was of course a false calendar that gave us the impression that time is linear, that it is disconnected from nature, that it does not observe the beginnings and the endings within the earth, within nature, within the galaxy, within the solar system. And so we have to open our minds now that we are in a new world and that the false matrix has been disassembled, dissolved. And this is the most exciting thing. We now have to simply start perceiving the true nature, not the one that was controlled, the artificial nature. And the calendar, of course, was part of the artificial nature, the artificial reality. I should not even call it nature. And so this is a new beginning for us. It has so much to do with our cosmic mother. We can call her many different names. She likes to call herself Goddess Life. Life with a capital L. But we've had many words and many names for her. Mahaprakriti, the Great Mother. Sophia, the Great Cosmic Mother. And even Virgin Mary. And so many different names. We will now know so much more about everything through our intuition, through our divine self. The changes that have taken place are so miraculous. So let's speak about those, and then the second part of today's call will be a wonderful meditation, which also is coming to us from the great ones, and we will be aligning with this new world. Again, I just want to make sure, it doesn't have to do with 2025. As a matter of fact, civilizations already had 2025 thousands of years ago. The calendar we have is the calendar of the false matrix. It is the one to disconnect us from nature. And so, for example, January 1st, as the beginning of a new year, only started to be celebrated very recently in the 1800s. And it was the result of the Roman calendar, which was completely nonsensical, disconnected from nature. And so we again are awakening from a very manipulated world. And in this manipulation, we have the residue of it all around us. It is all around us, but it will be the brave ones, who you are, who will need to start seeing the true divine reality, which now became available to us more than ever before. And so we will start having new consciousness, new realizations. We will start remembering. We will also remember the true nature of time. And that time cannot be measured the way that our calendars have measured it. And so let's look at the big changes that just took place. First of all, ascension is about the return of the earth back into divine reality. That's really what ascension is. The return of the earth back into divine reality. That means new electromagnetic field for the earth. New soul, in a way, for the earth. Not trapped, but liberated. Awake. And so it is the Queen of the Earth that has been waking up. And we have been waking up with her. You see, it's the Gaia within the earth who's been waking up after a very long sleep. The sleep of Gaia was the fall. We call it the fall, And it truly was a fall. What fell was the alignment of the earth, was the spine of the earth. It was also the electromagnetic field of the earth. It was the protective shield around the earth. It was also her grids, that really is her health. All of it fell. I experienced it myself. I remember that live when it happened. And my divine self gave me the authentic memory of it so that I knew how to speak about this and what was going to change. So when that happened, it was just like the story of Sleeping Beauty. And so the Sleeping Beauty fell asleep, that is Gaia, and with her the entire queendom fell asleep too. And everyone was dreaming. If you read the story of the Sleeping Beauty or if you've seen it, everybody's just dreaming. They are asleep with her until she is kissed and wakes up. And she has been kissed and she has been waking up. And now she's in a whole new place. Last night, and I sometimes like to put dates on it here just for myself so that when I go back and I look at all the miraculous changes that have taken place, I remember when it happened. And so last night, I saw many of you in the ethers last night. And again, I haven't met all of you, of course, in person, so I don't recognize everyone's face. But I saw many of you in the ethers last night. And what happened last night, again, not to do with our calendar, but with actually the real time of this galaxy. It has to do with the time within the galaxy. And the time within the galaxy is actually, of course, cyclical. Time moves the way that a spiral moves within this universe. And so yesterday was an alignment in the galaxy, it was an alignment within the universe, and it was also an alignment of the galaxy within the universe. And we just watched that happen. And so what happened last night, I would say that we have new skies, new ethers. We are now becoming again part of the true divine reality. If you listen to Patricia Cota Robles, we started a new YouTube channel for Patricia, and we are now also producing, or co-producing, of course, the weekly vlogs with Patricia. So maybe you felt new energy within the vlogs, maybe you noticed some changes to the vlogs. So this will be the energy of this team here. And so Patricia in the vlog, she might use, different words for this, but actually she used very, very similar words. She was speaking about the dismantling of the matrix, and that no more are the controllers who have been controlling and manipulating humanity, she says, for eons of times. And that could be many, many, many thousands, if not millions of years that we have spent in the false matrix with this false time. And no longer can they impede us, and no longer is there a source for them to be sustained. We knew all of this because the change took place on 11/11, when the source, which we called, cosmic evil, just to spell it out, actually was reintegrated into oneness with all life. And so this is such a huge new beginning, not because of the calendar, but because of 11/11, which is the portal in cosmos. The portal in cosmos is actually like a gateway, and I got to see it myself several years ago. When I was meditating, suddenly my third eye opened. I could see that there are pillars of light that open on 11/11, and it looks like the number 11. And so these pillars create a gateway. And when that gateway is open, then this new light comes to the earth. And so that's what happened this year. And this year we knew that on 11/11 we had to be at actually the emergence point in the Grand Canyon, where this world, the fourth world, came into being. And there was actually a distortion, and that had to be healed on 11/11, and it was successfully healed. And since then we are in a new beginning, new beginning of a new blueprint for the design of our reality. This is so huge. This is so huge that nothing that we have experienced since the fall is bigger. This is the biggest, most incredible transformation of life on planet Earth since the fall. Think about that. So we knew several years ago, some of you have been listening to these calls for a long time, so you know that we knew we were going to experience a huge transformation of our life on a winter solstice. Divine Mother told us a few years ago, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, she said a huge transformation will happen on a winter solstice, but she didn't tell us which year. And I truly, firmly believe, because it has to do with our successful fulfilling of missions. And so that ending, this was the end of the false matrix. It got dismantled. I watched it myself, and I know many seers around the world are seeing it, plus Patricia's video, of course, confirms it. This winter solstice that we've just had was the end of the false matrix. So how is this going to affect our consciousness, our lives? What does it mean for us? Well, again, the movie Matrix, I think, so well told us the story of Sophia. The movie Matrix, despite all the violence in it, of course, and all the action and all the entertainment, because it's a Hollywood movie after all, played an important role actually in the unveiling of the story of Sophia. To me, when I watch The Matrix, and I like to watch it very often because you're going back to the Gnostic story of the false matrix, how it operates, who created it, and how to get out of it. So it's a fantastic story. But the matrix itself, of course, we went into the details of it, how it worked, had to expire. And this solstice was the expiration date of the false matrix. The thing is that we still see it all around us. But now we have been liberated from it. So we'll have to move out of it with the power of our consciousness. And we'll speak about that in all these calls that we do here together. So, number one, the false matrix, of course, it worked through the physical body. And it was connected to our central nervous system. And it was feeding us information about itself and giving us a sense of reality through our 5 senses. That's why every mystic who was able to liberate themselves from the false matrix had to be able to actually liberate their perception of reality through the senses, which meant, as we have practiced many times, withdrawing all the life force from all the senses, all of them, into the spine, and then moving the energy up into the third eye and beyond. That was the way that the yogis figured out that we all have within us. Now, I've practiced this myself for many, many years, and I can tell you that, for example, let's say I would be practicing this technique, but that still would be sound around me. And if there was sound, I could not fully disconnect from the physical body and go into the higher reality, because sound was keeping me in this reality. So when I experienced that, I realized truly what the yogis and Yogananda, of course, and all the lineage of Babaji were teaching. The senses are what gave us this impression of reality. But when someone mastered this technique, they were able to actually see the true divine reality. And to me, Neo in the Matrix is actually Christ. And not Jesus, but Christ consciousness. And so someone who can walk on water, someone who can stop the bullets, someone who has divine love within them. And the entire story, of course, of the Matrix is that divine love, and in the movie it's Trinity. Think about why she is called Trinity, the Holy Trinity, and Neo as the new one. The new one, Neo means new, meaning the new divine self. That is the Christ self instead of the old self. And so he figures out how to be above the matrix, how to actually be in the world, but not of the world. And that's going to be now all of us who are brave enough to stop the bullets. So the old matrix, as you see it here, was described by Plato as a cave where everybody's just watching with their 5 senses the shadows, and they believe that the shadows are real. That's exactly the same story. So we simply had multi-sensory experience of the false matrix, and that's why it seemed real. When I first saw it, it was like a TV channel that is being televised, but we have 5 senses to perceive it. So instead of perceiving it just through sight, which would be like looking at a TV, and through your ears, so you would hear it, see it and hear it, we would have 5 senses perceiving this channel. 5 senses perceiving channel. Now, I would not know how it worked if I didn't use the technique of Kriya Yoga, which is the technique that Babaji gave us, how to disconnect from the senses. I simply practice and practice and practice. Of course, it was not meant to be easy, because if it was meant to be easy, then everyone would be able to see through the illusion and not want to participate in it. But you have to think about the guys who created the false matrix. There were beings in actually another dimension, and so not visible to humanity, but they needed our energy, because we are immortal beings and we are creator beings, and we truly are what one would call children of God, children of the creator actually. I like when the Hopi people call God creator. And so the matrix, since it now is dismantled, we can speak about it. It was a closed system. So it was surrounded by a false electromagnetic field which kept us within the false matrix. Electromagnetic field is very important to our perception of reality. And within all of cosmos, it's really important. Our light body actually is what would defeat the false matrix. When someone activated their light body, their rainbow body specifically, when they practiced and meditated and did all the work it takes, it's a lot of work that had to go into it, then they would be able to defeat the matrix, because they would become free from it by having much more powerful electromagnetic field. But most of humanity lived within the false matrix because they didn't have a strong electromagnetic field. The strongest electromagnetic field, I would say, was around children, because children were still free enough to run the full rainbow body. And that's why we had this very deliberate agenda to stop everyone from being free. This system needed energy, and so it needed to trap these immortal souls, like you see here in the picture, and make them believe that they are in a reality. And then there would of course be this false matrix, not only in the 3rd dimension, but it would go into the lower astral, and in the lower astral it would create still a barrier, so that when beings would be dying, they would have to come back and reincarnate into the false matrix. So it was unbelievable. Like, I just think science fiction, but it's good to know that all of this is the past. But now imagine with me, please, because I now am, every day think about it since the solstice. How will we move forward? Imagine that 8.5 billion people for millions of years, maybe, right? We've been incarnating into the false matrix, and we didn't realize it was a prison. Very few mystics, right, realize it was a prison. So they say, you have to be liberated from this recycling system. You have to be free. They call it liberation. Liberation from what? Liberation from reincarnation into the false matrix. They wanted us to step into divine reality instead. And so as long as we had desires within the false matrix, we kept coming back. As long as we left some residue of our energy within the false matrix, we had to come back. It was such an elaborate system that was created by the beings who wanted to have creation to themselves. And we call them the beings of cosmic evil or the forces of darkness. Now again, I can speak about it because I met these beings. I was so shocked when I first met them. I could not imagine that that's even possible. But then everything started to make sense, of course, and then I could understand what Yogananda was trying to tell us. Then I could understand what every good tradition, religion, teachings, philosophy was trying to tell us. They couldn't spell it out because, of course, the false matrix would not allow the information to be freely shared. And so it had to be hidden, so that only mystics, through meditation, through, all the different practices we've had, can actually figure it out for themselves. And then it would all make sense. And so this closed system needed energy. And we were then the co-creators of the false matrix, because we would be within it, constantly giving energy to it. Giving energy to it would be just like these guys here in the cave, looking at it, pointing at it, experiencing it as if it is real. So now if you open the prison, what happens? First of all, most people will not even realize it, that the prison has been opened. And I don't know if you would agree with me, but I've been thinking about it every day since it ended, since it got dismantled. Imagine if 8.5 billion people were living in a prison, and they got so used to it. They got used to how they wake up, they got used to how they go to work, they got used to how they eat, they got used to relationships, they got used to the monetary system, they got used to the jobs, the disease, the birth, the death. They just got used to it. So 8.5 billion people got so used to the matrix. And now the matrix is no longer here the way it has been for so long. So what happens to the humanity that got so used to it? That's now the task we have here. We now have a new matrix. Matrix is the web of life, and we are the weavers of a new web of life, and that is the divine matrix, no longer the false matrix. Again, go back and listen to Patricia deeply, knowing all of this. The last video, it's just different vocabulary, same information. And so how do we live now when the prison is gone, but the habits are so strong? The thoughts are the habits. The perception is a habit. The senses are a habit. The brain is just polluted with habits. So how do we let go of the habits? How do we now think constantly in alignment with the new divine will? There is a new divine will that is shining upon us now. So again, it will require this incredible quantum leap in our courage, in our way of thinking, being, speaking. I just got to spend some time with Yogananda in Ensenada, so I'll speak about that too, because this is a new world. So how do we now live the new? This is going to be so amazing. We have to still keep clearing the illusion, but the illusion now just lives within us. It still lives within people. But what's happened now, of course, since 11/11, is that humans are seeing into the fourth dimension. They are reporting on all that they are seeing. There was still a battle that took place after 11/11 in the fourth dimension. I could clearly see there was still, what people call the drones. There were false forces of darkness. The controllers of the matrix became visible, but there was also forces of light. And so a battle was still taking place. And now we are in clean, new, golden ethers. We have new ethers. This is just so huge that we just have to help each other to remind ourselves the old world is no longer actually sustained by the force that created it. But as you know, the old world is still here around us, because it's like a prison that you open the doors and windows and everything, but if people still choose to be inside of it because they found comfort in it, then they can still choose it if they want to. But I'm assuming that you and me, we don't want to. When we have this amazing new divine opportunity to actually go beyond it, we have now new divine matrix. So the matrix, as I explained it, because I got to see it from like a distance, you cannot see it from within itself. You have to be outside of the false matrix to actually be able to describe it, right? Otherwise we are just describing the cave. And so you can think of it as like a drop of oil that was in the ocean of divine reality. But now, because it was separated through electromagnetic field, we are now one with divine reality. With divine reality. That is so amazing. This dissolution, dissolving took place because of all that we have done as humanity. You know, we call them light workers. I think it's a great way of describing it, even though it's, you know, people sometimes say it's not correct. But I would say the children of God have done the job. The children of God have done the job. And I remember coming here for this mission, and so many of you have these memories, many people around the world have these memories, and so it's amazing that we can behold, you know, the light of God within us, even in this world that now will be dissolving in front of our eyes, but we are part of the dissolving. So this was the first impulse when the Earth actually received new energy within the galaxy, but the same happened last night. Last night, once again, we have a new alignment, not only within the galaxy, but of the galaxy in the universe. Why does it matter to someone living on planet Earth? Well, it must matter, because we are in a body of the grandmother galaxy. At the core of this galaxy, there are beings that have been actually part of our evolution here on planet Earth and a part of our what we would call history. These beings exist eternally within this galaxy. So for example, at the core of this galaxy, you would find a being that we have known as Hathor. And so you could say that it's our grandmother. The grandmother galaxy that we are in now is flowing differently, her light, into this world that we are part of. That means that you and me as tiny little people in these tiny little bodies, we are receiving new light, new consciousness. I mean, this is going to be a huge difference for all of us. So again, on solstice, you know, we will have new calendars, we will have new perception of time, we will have new people in this world who will truly be the revolutionaries who say no more repeating nonsense. And so, for example, just to look at the calendar that we have right now, it's a nonsensical calendar. Once upon a time, of course, we had a calendar that would align with planetary, solar, galactic, and universal cycles. We had cyclical calendars. We didn't measure time the way we do today, which is artificial, but we measured actually cycles, and we wanted to know the most important thing about cycles. The most important thing about cycles was, when do they align? When do we have great openings between us and, for example, the galactic core? When do we have a great opening for the Earth between us, the galactic core, and the core of the universe? And if we knew when that is, because we measured the cycles, we observed the cycles, then we knew when we have the biggest opportunity that we must absolutely use to move forward in evolution. This is amazing. And so, you know, the solstice itself, it's an alignment. It's an alignment through which we receive these great energies from our galaxy and from our universe. So, you know, our calendar that we still have is the calendar of the false matrix, used to begin in spring, of course. So originally, before, you know, the Romans took the calendar and they manipulated it, we had always the beginning of the year would be in spring. And so, for example, now we have the months September, which means 7, but it is actually a 9th month. Why is it by 2 months? The same with October, November, December. They are off by 2 months. The reason for that is because the calendar that it originated from started in March. And so for Northern Hemisphere, of course, spring equinox. As some great mystics said, nothing ever starts in the middle of winter, but something ends on solstice. So the new beginning is always equinox, new beginning. And so again, we will see the residue of the false matrix all around us, of course. We will see it in our governments. We will see it in the leadership that doesn't really lead us. We will see it in the monetary system. We will still see it around us. But the important thing is that revolutionaries are not controlled by the residue of the false matrix. Even if just deep down you know the truth, that's good enough. Just knowing the truth deep down is really important. Through meditation now, we will receive so much more knowing. So when I was meditating yesterday, I realized that something has really changed when we meditate. Suddenly, the power to see with the pineal gland was just so explosive. It was like, suddenly, it was so clear. I could see beings that I haven't seen for a very long time. So yesterday there was a big change. I also do believe, and this is something that I will receive information about as we move forward, but I do believe that there is no reason why we should have Kali Yuga again. Even though that was the nature of our galaxy. We had the Dark Ages and we had evil because of how energy was moving within this galaxy. But I truly do believe that the Golden Age will be our new nature. So a few days ago, I really felt like I needed to fly down to San Diego to be with Yogananda and to be in Encinitas. And it happened to be that they had 2 tickets left to be able to go to his home, his hermitage, where he experienced so many supernatural experiences himself. And so I flew down and was able to spend the entire Sunday, so the 29th, with Yogananda. And the energy in the hermitage, if you've ever been, was unparalleled. It was the strongest, some of the strongest energy I've ever felt in the hermitage. It was almost like the great ones were having, a dinner party in there. It was so strong that my bones were vibrating. And Kundalini awakened, and when your Kundalini awakens, it's a very big energy moving through you. And so when you go to Encinitas, you can meditate all day. So that's what we did. I went with some friends and we received revelation. I was asking Yogananda, and I was so unbelievable. I was so out of this world. But again, it's because it's after solstice. So we were meditating, by the tree of St. Francis of Assisi in the gardens. And it was a very gray, cold, cloudy day. We didn't see the sun at all on Sunday. And as we were meditating by the tree, I had to keep opening my eyes because of all the golden light that was shining upon us. As humanity, of course, not just us there. But I had to open my eyes 4 times and just say, wow. I thought the sun was suddenly, visible, but it wasn't. But that's exactly what it felt like. So as I was flying to Encinitas, I always meditate on the flight. So I was meditating and my third eye opened and I could clearly see that we have new ethers. So this is after the solstice, new ethers. We have new light in the ethers. We no longer have particles of darkness that surround us. All ethers were filled with golden light. Zillions of little particles, like you see here maybe in the picture, like surrounding Divine Mother, the little particles of light. That's exactly what the ethers look like. So I asked Yogananda, I connected him deeply through Kriya Yoga and through meditation, and we meditated for many hours. And so I said, so Yogananda, in this new world, can you please reveal to us what's the way forward? you know, because we have to know this is a new world. We cannot behave the way we behaved in the old world. We cannot do the practices and still practice things that no longer are needed. That's the thing. So many of, you know, like let's say you go to a Buddhist now and they still probably will be teaching about reincarnation. They still will be telling us that there is the wheel of karma. But that is not the new world. The new world is so different. And so in the middle of the night, I couldn't sleep at all. And we've had so many, incredible solar activities right now. We have geomagnetic storms and all of that. And so what Yogananda revealed in the middle of the night is he took me out into the universe and he said, look, this is, how we received divine will in the past. We received divine will through the Big Dipper. And we've known that. We have known that we have been receiving the emanation of divine will until now through this Big Dipper. And that each star in the Big Dipper represents a rishi, a cosmic being who was emanating divine will to humanity through the Big Dipper. But what just happened, and this is not a good picture because we don't have a picture of the new skies, but on December 29th, there is a new kind of, we are now seeing into different divine reality. We are seeing into divine reality. We no longer see the firmament, kind of like a false sky that we had until recently, until actually the fall of the Matrix. So there is a new Big Dipper. It looks slightly different. And it's emanating new divine will to humanity. And so we will today do a meditation. We will do it right now. We will be aligning with the new divine will, new blueprint. So this morning when I was meditating, this just came to me. This was amazing that we actually have a free meditation, which many years ago, Sanaya and Dwayne shared with us. And I was able to still find it online for free because, as you know, we're not allowed to work with this unless we pay. But this one was for free. So I remembered that many years ago, Oren and Deben invited people to meditate for New Year. And they had this amazing meditation. So when I did it myself this morning, I thought, oh my gosh, you can't make this stuff up. So Oren will be transmitting to us the new divine will. Ho, 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 I'm excited. And so this is the most amazing thing ever. We will be now meditating to align with the most important thing. If you can, please stay with us. It's about 20 minutes. How do we move forward? We cannot move forward by still giving power to the false matrix. We cannot move forward by actually repeating the old. We are now in a spontaneous new world, which means the habits, we'll have to question the habits of the old matrix. The divine self is incredibly spontaneous. That's why the ascended masters, when they are here on earth, the avatars, they are incredibly spontaneous. They are always fresh and free. They are not dictated and controlled by habit. They are always open to the new. And so this is how we open to the new. The way to move forward is to listen to what the new divine will is for you, for this world, and for humanity. And we can really do it through, just a little bit of meditation. So again, the third eye is open more than ever before. We can see better than ever before. And so let us go in. And I'm going to pause the recording to honor Oren and Deben, of course. But that's where you can find it. You can Google it. I found it when I Googled. I couldn't find it on the website, but I found it on Google, and then it took me to their website.
For now.
And so it is. And so I know that every single one of you knows the power of these transmissions. These are life-changing transmissions by Oren, that is in a way like the highest self of Sanaya, who transmitted these teachings. I was able to see Oren yesterday, And so for the first time, face to face, and not even having to go to higher realms. And so these beings are so available to us now through our divine self. And so we will actually again repeat at 5 p.m. today. So if you are in the right time zone, join us again at 5 p.m. to do this again. This is the alignment with the new divine will. I believe it's by design that this audio is available for free so that all of us can benefit. And so work with us often. Now we will be meeting again on January 17, 18, and 19, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we will every day work with this new divine will. Divine will is essential to us, but we have new divine will for the new divine matrix that we are co-creating. And so how do we move forward? That's such a huge question. As you know, again, it's wonderful that we now have a new YouTube channel for Patricia, and that the vlogs are being co-created really by our team and Patricia. So we have a new look, new feel, new energy. And for example, in this new vlog that we just posted, it is really, Patricia so beautifully explains all that we talked about here. And so I would like to close by actually doing the invocation with Patricia, because of course we can all do it on our own, but the power is in collective consciousness. And so I'm just going to fast forward to where the invocation starts, which is at 12 minutes. So just a moment, I'm fast forwarding.
First person, so that we will each experience them personally. Simultaneously know, however, that we are invoking these patterns through the I Am presence of every person on earth, in perfect alignment with each one's divine plan and the highest good for all concerned. And we begin. I am greatly accelerating the divine template for my new fifth dimensional solar life path. With the divine intervention of my I Am presence, the collective I Am presence of all humanity and the beings of light from the realms of cause, I now accelerate to brand new, multi-dimensional and multifaceted frequencies of divine light, the crystalline solar patterns of perfection that will form the divine template for my fifth dimensional crystalline solar life path. Now, on my holy breath, I decree, I am a beloved child of God, and I am expressing my full divine potential as a loving and heart-based being of light with every breath I take. As I sojourn through my earthly experiences, I am enveloped in the protection of my Father God's invincible power and my Mother God's comprehensive divine love. With every breath, I am manifesting through accelerated divine alchemy my vibrantly healthy, eternally youthful, fifth dimensional, crystalline, physical, etheric, mental, and emotional solar light bodies. My Mother God's divine love perpetually flows through my heart flame, blessing all life on earth and magnetizing wonderful, loving relationships into every area of my existence. I am now reaching my highest divine potential in all of my relationships. As a daughter or son, a woman or man, a wife or husband, a mother or father, a grandmother or grandfather, as a relative, a friend, a co-worker, a teacher, a way-shower, a steward of this planet, a light worker, and a co-creator of heaven on earth. I am joyfully fulfilling my divine purpose and reason for being, and I am financially and creatively rewarded. Every day, I am open and receptive as I receive the infinite flow of God's abundance. I easily communicate openly and honestly with everyone, and I am a compassionate and thoughtful listener. My I Am presence guides me unerringly throughout the day. I intuitively receive information and viable solutions to the various situations surfacing in my life. I am able to easily and effectively implement these solutions in practical and tangible ways. I am consciously aware that I am a multidimensional being of light, and that I abide simultaneously in both the pure land of boundless splendor and infinite light in the heavenly realms, and in the physical world of form on planet Earth. From this moment forth, with every holy breath I take, I am the open door for the light of God and the fifth dimensional crystalline solar patterns of perfection I have breathed forth this day from the realms of cause. Now, I know and accept that through the unified efforts of heaven and earth this sacred and holy day, on my holy breath, I have God victoriously magnetized from the realms of cause the tangible manifestation of the divine template for my new life path and the fifth dimensional crystalline solar frequencies of God's infinite perfection, which will form the crystalline solar new earth. With deep humility and gratitude, I now decree, it is done, and so it is. Beloved, I am. Beloved, I am. Beloved, I am that I am. God bless you, dear one. I look forward to being with you next week.
so it is. So starting with this vlog, number 52, they are co-creations, and so it's our team who's co-creating with Patricia now and posting on the new YouTube channel. It's pretty amazing how it all unfolds. And so we specifically activated the opening of the vlogs and the ending of the vlogs in Encinitas with Yogananda's energy so that it is transmitted to us. Everything is by design. Wonderful, wonderful things are unfolding here. I know that we will still see the old world around us, and it might be the hardest part about it, to see the old world and the old world with so many people who are still completely blind to the new. You know, when we do these meditations, we want to be gazing into the third eye. When you gaze into the third eye, you will see the light of God. It was so present here with us. We could see it. And so we want to be able to see what's going on. So always lift your gaze into your third eye to see the light that is here with us. That's why it's so powerful. Again, we have new DNA now. It got activated, you know, in stages. We cannot do anything so abrupt. It has to happen in stages like in nature. It's a process, but this process is so miraculous. We now have incredible new DNA. And I see it working in us every single day. We truly are walking fields of solutions. And the solutions are not coming from our lower human ego. The lower human ego was constantly trying to figure something out. But our divine self is the Alpha and Omega. It is the solution to all things. It already figured everything out. Nothing needs to be figured out at the level of the divine self. We just have to allow it to flow through us. So as we are in this world, you will feel these solutions flowing through you. It will always feel like inspiration. And inspiration is the language of the divine self. When you feel called, when you feel inspired, we will have to close our senses to the old world that is still around us and to keep clearing it, cleaning it. And that is the cleaning part that we have here. That's a cleaning job. We are here to sweep it, and we are sweeping the false matrix as it crumbled. And so every single day, we do not want to believe this world. We now have new divine matrix, new web of life that we are weaving together. We are now the co-creators of the new divine matrix. Matrix, again, we are the weavers. So whatever we choose now really matters. Let's not choose the illusion of the old world. We still might have to go to work. We still might need to earn money. But at the same time, the truth lives very strongly now within us. And that is, I realize this is just the residue of the old world, but we will be in our divine self bringing the solutions to the new. The new is complete freedom, of course. And so we will together get this done. Now, let's meet again at 5 p.m. if you can, and if not, I look forward to seeing you hopefully on January 17th, 18th, and 19th as we continue this great work. So thank you so much, and many blessings.